If you want to book roles, you must know what the director wants. Not just artistically, but technically and logistically. I just auditioned for 2 films last week and I booked both of them. It almost never happens, but I love it when it does. And the reason I booked them both was because I gave an audition that was pretty much exactly how the directors were hoping it would be like. From the character to the beats to the lines that were down, so they didn't have to question if I was competent in that department. And the scene was given in the way that they both envisioned. Now here's the reality. At least on big sets, actors do not get time to rehearse, ever. I mean, the first time we do this with each other is essentially right after camera rehearsal when we're going right on. So many actors, mainly they're theater trained, and they're essentially expecting a company rehearsal to be part of the process when in fact you need to have this entire thing down. Directors aren't there to work with actors and talk things through. It's a $250,000 film day with 6 scenes and 2 company moves. They have no time for that. Maybe Scorsese or Tarantino are big-time directors that have a nice budget to have long rehearsal windows. But that's why the audition is so important. That's why I give them something that's ready to print. They don't have to mold it. Maybe there's a note here or there, but the reason I book is because I give them everything that they envisioned. And to beat even the best tapes, I probably give them something more, something they didn't expect. They want the actor to be the artist here, to allow their training, their life experience, their own paintbrushes to be part of the artistry. And when you have great actors as a director, you don't need to do much. Or at the very least, you can focus on other things during production. The actors who are in the 2%, they learn that. After so many years and working with so many directors and being trained so long and so well, they're able to execute consistently what they think the director is going for. And more often than not, we're usually right. I started coaching because I knew either to help motivate actors to keep going or to change up their perspective so they have an easier time with this extremely difficult pursuit. So through the valleys of this path, you can get hit and you can get depressed and you can hate that string of resistance that you're on. You can fall as low as you have to, as long as you don't give up. Before you trudged this path, there was a younger version of yourself who incepted this idea. The wind of their sails wasn't taken away by naysayers or well-meaning loved ones in society expecting you to be a corporate sheep and take the easy way out. You must honor that person who gave you this gift of an idea of being an actor as something worth pursuing. So many give this up just because it's hard. Then they wonder years later why they, as Thoreau calls it, lead quiet lives of desperation, possibly living without that truth that got lost in the pursuit. So before the world told you that you must make money, or your girlfriend's dad judged your path, or whatever, or whomever brainwashed you to think that you had to get a salary with bennies in order to be a human on planet Earth, we must honor that person who said, this is what we want to do. I found this vocation, this calling as a 13-year-old, and I think about him often. And even on my worst day, or the smallest project that I'm on, I know he'd be over the moon of where I am. And even just simply that I kept going. And whether it's 1 year, 5 years, 10 years down the line, you begin seeing new high water marks. That version of you will thank you again for sticking it out another day. Don't give up. This is a personal preference. This is not law. I do not let mics be visible in an audition. Lavs, I'm talking about. Our goal is for authenticity, for casting and creatives to suspend disbelief, to be pulled into the scene knowing full well it's fabricated with the limitations of the world of the self-tape, all the while rising above the other 200 auditions that they already saw that day. Casting asks us to limit the distractions in the frame, like background and props and everything else that can take away from the stripped down moment. So, all that said, why would I want a lav on my lapel dirtying up this frame? Some of these have blue and red lights. You don't see a boom in the shot in film. In my opinion, same goes for this. Now, I do say to my clients, have the sides in your hand. And if it's below frame, feel free to bring it up at some point in a natural way to give them the feeling so that they remember this is only an audition. I just got this last night. There's miles of changes that can be made between now and the day. Now, in that vein, I think it's tasteful to bring them out of reality. But you can't put that mic down below the frame. It's there, glaring at whoever's watching. So I say, use a boom. If you only have a lav, at the very least, try and place it close enough to pick you up clearly without being showcased in the shot. And if you don't have an external mic for your auditions, you're doing it wrong. While we're on the subject, too many tapes do not have the reader mic'd, and casting can only really make out the lines from the actor auditioning. Again, it takes away the reality when we have to be reminded there's a major audio level difference. And acting is mostly reacting. So, how is casting supposed to gauge your responses and your reactions when they can't hear what you're hearing? Think about it. Invest in good mics. Sure, it's a visual medium, but sound makes all the difference.